Another week in Portland State women's basketball with head coach Lynn Kennedy. Coach, couple tough home losses last week to University of Portland and UC Davis, but you had some fairly substantial individual performances. Talk about some of those individuals that stood out in those two games.
Yeah, I think, going back to last week, we did a lot of good things, played two tough opponents, and coming back to home, we wanted to get better every day. We talk about getting better every day, and I thought we did that in both the games. We had a couple quarters where we didn't show up as a team, either our execution. Against Portland, we didn't shoot the ball very well, but I think, overall, we had a lot to take away that was on the positive side. CC West, she stepped up and played a really good game against Portland. Just her intensity and her effort, both on the offense and the defensive glass, that kind of sparked us a little bit. We got down early in that first quarter, got within 3 at halftime, got down again to start the third quarter, and then we were able to get it back within 4 points with 5 minutes left. And I thought that her intensity and her effort really kind of pushed us to get back into the game and make it a close game at the end. Against UC Davis, I thought Corey James did a really good job of stepping up. She's been real close, in several other games as far as hitting her outside shot, being able to step up on the offensive end. And I thought, she put a complete game together. She was focused defensively because they were taller than us. They had a little bit more height down low. We emphasized that all week on defense as far as making sure that we played aggressive down low. They were able to get around them and the low block. And so she was part of that, playing our 3-guard spot. And then on the offensive end, she was able to get into shot-ready zones, be ready to shoot. She knocked down some big shots and allowed us to stay around in that game and make it a close game at the end as well, too. So 2 close losses, but I think going into this next week, we got a lot of positive things to take away from last week.
New women's basketball season has new rule changes coming down from the NCAA. Coach, let's talk about a few of those rule changes. The biggest one we have here is going to 4 quarters.
Yeah. Well, I think, for us, eventually we want to get to faster tempo. I think it helps us because there's not as many media timeouts. There's not as many breaking the action. There's not as many timeouts overall. So eventually it should help with our tempo. It hasn't played too much into any of the games yet. A lot of it is just the substitutions. You have to make sure they have the right substitutions. It's more like WNBA, NBA, where you have carry over from one quarter to the other quarter, where you have players that will carry over to the other quarter. So we just make sure we have the right personnel in at the right times. That's kind of what we've been focusing on as a staff. But I think it has, the games are quicker. I mean, overall, when you look on the total time of the games, are quicker, and I definitely think it helps the flow of the game. You can stay, for us, it's helped us where we've focused more on the quarter aspect of it and shortened the amount of time for us to stay in the games as a young team. So it's kind of helped us focus on that. We can put 5-10 minute segments together, and that will help us stay more focused in like a 20-minute half.
One of the other rule changes for this year is being able to advance the ball on a timeout within a minute of the fourth quarter. Talk a little bit about how that will help change the way the end of the game is played.
Well, eventually, if you get in a tight situation, I mean, if there's 8 seconds left in the game, you can get 3 possessions out of it, really. So I think, even if it's a close game and you're under 30 seconds, it's great to have those timeouts to advance it. You got to be strategic and when you use them. So if the defense calls a timeout, they can't advance it, but the offense calls a timeout, you can. And you got your playbook is probably going to expand too, because a lot more sideline plays are going to be going in. So you have to make sure that opposition, their tendencies of what they're going to run as well. So eventually I think it will help the game. It'll make it more exciting at the end, close games. There'll be probably more overtime games. You allow them to have shots at the end. But I think it's great for the game, and it just improves, just the quality that you get at the end of a game. And you're going to get better looks at the basket instead of full court shots. You're going to get actually shots at the baskets where it'll help for fan entertainment.
Vikings set out this week for one of their toughest road challenges of the season, heading to South Dakota in December to take on South Dakota State and the University of South Dakota. Coach, preview both of those matchups. They've got talented teams that have faced tough opposition so far this season.
Yeah, both teams are extremely good. South Dakota State's probably played one of the tougher schedules in the nation, and they've done really well. Playing Notre Dame and Maryland and Pittsburgh and Arkansas, teams like that. So they've come away with some quality wins. Both these teams, we're treating it like a Big Sky Conference road trip. I mean, I think that's what we have to do with a young team. We talked about, our Montana trip, our Eastern Washington, Idaho trip, if we go down to Northern Arizona, Southern Utah trip. We're trying to treat it like a trip, in the Big Sky Conference. With us going to play them, it's going to be a big crowd, good team. We got to focus on us. We can spend a lot of time working on the things that they do, but at the same time, as a young team, we've got to keep improving, keep getting better. We've got to go in with our game plan and execute that and play with effort, the things we've talked about the last 2 weeks. And if we do that, we've got an opportunity to stay in the game. Both these teams are solid all the way around. They got good post players. They got players that can knock down three. South Dakota State's probably got the best 1-2 guard combination that I've seen, scouting this year. They're able to knock down the shot. They're able to drive the basket, and their posts just work hard. I mean, they crash the glass. South Dakota, they've got a complete team. I mean, they run their offensive sets really extremely well. They play hard defense. They crash the glass. So, looking into this week, we've got our work cut out for us, but at the same time, it's an opportunity to play quality opponents on the road and get better as a team.
Vikings take on South Dakota State on Thursday before heading to University of South Dakota on Saturday. For more information about women's basketball and all important state athletics, visit govikes.com.